Hello and welcome to Girls, Gays, Animes, where it is safe to love who you love and love what you love. I'm your host, Valsarpator, and I love nailing the intro on the first try, which I have yet to do. I'm here with my co-host, my ho-coast, T.
Hey, I'm T, and I absolutely love staring into the void and hoping it stares back.
That's my ho-coast, everyone. Thanks for listening in today on our topic of anime and pop culture. I'm actually really excited to talk through this, and not just because this is the cutest presentation I've ever made in my entire life.
Facts. I haven't seen all of the ones that you've made, but I saw this one and I was like, cute.
I put out some bangers. You saw the one that I made where I roasted Mims
Yes.
Simps. That podcast for another day.
Mm-hmm.
All right, roll us in, T.
All right, friends, so we are here to present to you anime and pop culture.
Woo! For those that
Oops.
are listening, so sorry. We have the cutest slide deck in the entire world. We're going to do our best to narrate it as we go. Sorry if we suck. We're going to start off this with ways anime sneaks into real life. So we've got a list here of fashion, music, film, art. We even talk about sports, even though it's not listed on the slide, but we're going to get into it.
And obviously, video games fits into that too, but I feel like that's a
True.
whole other topic that we could get into, so it's not necessarily in here.
Yes.
JoJo's in the Louvre.
JoJo's in the Louvre. So this obviously is art in anime. So this is really cool because the artist of the JoJo's manga was actually featured his art in the Louvre, and this was his first go at full art, like full color art pieces, and they're just stunning. He was invited to actually put his art up, and he developed a whole storyline that kind of goes with this art, based around, for those that are JoJo's fans, Rohan. The art is absolutely stunning. I've got this art book. I believe this is one that I don't know if this is the one we got in Japan or not, but this is just a full art book, of different stuff that the JoJo's artist has put together. So I don't know. Sorry for those that are on just listening, but I've got this stunning art book just full of amazingly colored, detailed artworks, from JoJo's.
And some of them are like a two-page spread, some of them are just a one page, but they are beautiful. Very like bright color. I mean, what you expect from JoJo's, the bright colors, the
Yeah.
interesting style and everything.
Yeah, so if you're not watching, I highly recommend after the podcast, obviously going in and Google searching the Hirohiko Araki art, because it's truly stunning art. Great for phone backgrounds, desktop backgrounds, just browsing, good for your eyeballs, quality artwork.
Up next, we have
Fashion.
fashion.
So fashion's an extension of art, right? So
Absolutely.
so ways that anime has snuck into fashion. There have been so many different anime fashion collabs.
Hmm.
There was a Jimmy Choo Sailor Moon collab that, if I were a wealthier woman, I would own. But
Right?
alas, I'm not. But I will continue to dream about these shoes. They are stunning, and the amount of
Hmm.
detail that goes into the shoe design as it relates to, basically, if the Sailor Moon character were to wear Jimmy Choo's, like, it would, these shoes were like designed for them.
Hmm. And I feel like even if you don't know the anime, they're just a well-built shoe. Like that's a gorgeous boot that like
Oh,
all of them are stunning.
Oh yeah, like the blue Sailor Mercury retro boot. You've
Hmm.
got the green combat boot. Like, it's all just, it's peak. Some other collabs. Unfortunately, I don't know the name of this brand, but I saw it a lot when they actually pushed the collab out with Studio Ghibli.
Hmm.
Um, the bags were, again, this is another one that, like, I would have gone bankrupt had I, like, gotten the things that I wanted out of this collab.
How do
Um,
you think you pronounce that? Loewe?
I don't
Loewe for those playing at home.
I don't know, but we only have one photo. It's got a no face button up shirt with a matching no face bag, and
And a little
a
tie.
little no face tie as well. And there was some other art around like a model dressed in black feathers giving howls, holding a cow's fur bag.
Oh, adorable.
I debated. I went back and forth on which one to include because they're both
Mhm.
so good. And then last up, I've got this. Just again, these are just a couple of examples. These aren't by no means inclusive to all of the references that exist, but there was a Coach Naruto collab. They had bags, coats, fanny packs, and this collab was actually a I don't know, would it be called a triple collab? Because Michael B. Jordan, I believe, was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
collaborator with Coach on this Naruto collab. Tell me when I've said collab too many times.
Collab, collab, collab. I'll
So,
collab with that.
as you go into the next slide, other cool ways that fashion and anime have kind of bred into an amazing being.
So before we leave this one really quick, I
Yeah.
just wanted to mention, and I cannot remember the brand. Sorry, I was looking on my phone real quick. Oh, okay, I was right. It was Tiffany's. So recently, Tiffany's, the jewelry company,
Yeah.
did a Pokemon collab. And it was absolutely gorgeous. It was so cute. But like the cheapest thing was still like over $1,000 if I remember correctly.
Talk to me when
Or like
Tiffany's does a Digimon collab.
I'll hit you up. But the coolest thing is some of them would come in a Pokeball that was Tiffany blue colored.
Shut up.
And yeah, and the button on the front of the Pokeball was silver. See, but it is adorable. And like I said, out of my tax bracket, but very cute.
Soup's cutie.
So moving on to Sailor Moon in
Yeah.
our transition to fashion.
Yeah, so I was gonna include like so obviously we've already talked about one Sailor Moon collab, right? Which was the Jimmy Choo
Yeah.
one. But Sailor Moon collabs are everywhere. So they did collabs with Skechers, they've done collabs with Vans, they've done collabs with different like makeup brands.
Mhm.
What's this Sanrio collab that Sailor Moon had done? Was that the one that we were
So
talking about
I
with
looked
makeup?
at that a little bit, and that one had like little brooches and accessories from what I could see. It looked like if they had more stock when I was looking, it wasn't
Oh.
available anymore. But the ColourPop one, that's the makeup one that's in there right now. That one's more recent, within the past couple years. I remember Mim, who was on the last podcast, she was talking to me about it, and she was going to get stuff from that.
Classic.
The Sailor Moon Van stuff I actually have. I'm wearing a hoodie right now from the Sailor Moon Vans drop. Yeah. It's got the picture on the front, and there's a little decal on the side that's impossible to see in the lighting that I'm in, but I am in this lighting so you could see the actual picture on the front.
And for
And
the folks that are listening in, Tia just groped her boobs a bunch to show everyone the photo on her sweater. So you missed out on that if you're listening and not watching the YouTube video. So
you gotta watch.
sorry for your loss.
As Funimation said in the olden days, you should be watching.
Oh my god. I'll cue up that audio for next time.
I also have a pair of the Vans that aren't in either of those pictures. They are like the Luna color, so like a really deep, rich purple, and it has the different Sailor Scouts symbols on the sides of it, and then on the back of it, it has like moons and stars. It's really, really cute.
Okay, T, I know you mentioned that you didn't know about the Jimmy Choo collab with Sailor Moon. They did an extension of it, including a platform Mary Jane Luna shoe.
See, I knew about the first drop because I
Oh,
remember
okay.
seeing the boot, but I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, yeah. So
I saw Jimmy Choo, and my tax bracket said, "You don't need to look any further, girl." So I was like, "Okay, thank you for letting me know this existed. I appreciate it greatly." Ooh.
but yeah, so I saw the Luna shoe and I was like, no. The other ones I could look past because like I'm a tall girl.
Yeah.
But then granted I love platform shoes. But the Mary Jane I was like, no, why? Why you
And
do
everyone
this?
loves a good Mary Jane. They go with so many things.
So for for your perspective too, Tia,
Hmm.
the shoe itself, it wasn't just a black Mary Jane. It was a dark purple metallic-y.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, you should look it up. In the meantime, go to the next slide. I'll segue in while you look that up
True.
and cry into your phone. So, other ways that fashion and anime have kind of crossed.
Not fair. Why do they have to originally? Okay, so I'm on Poshmark right now. The Jimmy Choo Sailor Moon Luna loafer.
Yeah.
They are like holographic,
Mm-hmm.
and they have on the front of the shoe. There's like a little clip of Luna drawn in the manga style. And originally, this person on Poshmark had them listed for $4,100. And they dropped that price very generously
No.
to $2,899.
I mean, that is a generous drop, but still way out of
It still hurt me in many ways.
in ways that I didn't know I could be hurt by shoes.
Shoes don't deserve to hurt me like this. Oh my gosh, there was like a Luna Jimmy Choo like a tall boot as well that
Yeah.
has her on the side. I gotta stop looking or I'm gonna start crying. Anyway, back to Megan the Stallion.
Yeah. So, yeah, spoilers for those that are listening. Megan the Stallion is, we've posted about it on our socials before, but she is peak celebrity fandom for anime. Like, if there were ever a celeb, and first of all, I love Megan the Stallion, but the fact that
Mhm.
she so freely expresses her love of anime, it's empowering to other folks who are
Yeah.
into anime. Like, she's done full-blown cosplays, and then she's done cosplay nods as well, which are still so
Wow.
cool. And
Mhm.
like, she gender bends them, and or she just goes hard, and it's so cool. And we've got some photos up of her different cosplays, but she's done JJK, My Hero, Sailor Moon, My Hero Academia, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, um, and then she did Bucciarati for the Crunchyroll Awards, but then she also did Jolene while she was just touring around Japan after the award show, which again was it was such a good cosplay. If you haven't seen
Mhm.
them, look them up. I've also got a quote on here from Megan where she's like, when I'm doing my makeup, I'll have anime playing in the background before I go to sleep at night. It's what I fall asleep to. So she's watched, High School of the Dead, Assassination Classroom, Soul Eater. One of her cosplays is Death the Kid. Super cool. So
I love how not only does she like cosplay it, she mentions it in her music and stuff. Like it's a part of who she is. And it's really cool to see that in a mainstream person like that. Like I grew up, I'm a 90s kid, and like I said before, I've been into anime for my entire existence. I remember going to high school and literally like I had anime shirts that I wouldn't wear to school because I didn't want to get made fun of, or I'd wear them under a hoodie. And to see it like portrayed the way it is now is mind blowing. If you told me at age 14 that this is the way of the world now, I wouldn't believe you.
yeah. So I mean, I'm not saying she's like paving the way and she's
No.
what's making anime cool, but again, it's one of those things where it's like when you see celebrities who are confident in liking the things that they like,
Hmm.
it empowers you to also like the things that you like publicly, and
Absolutely.
not that you should be ashamed of anything that you like, but
Within
it's
reason.
with a reason. I shouldn't have to make that tag. I'm glad that you added it anyway. Okay. But yeah. So Megan Thee Stallion, she's legit. Oh, on her and including it in her songs for those that aren't Megan fans, she's got a lyric about having her partner eat her out while she's watching anime. And it's just chef's kiss.
She knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing.
She's got it
Respect.
all. She's got it all.
Respect. Respect the queen. So we also have some other celebrities, just as a little nod to not just mention Megan. We have Usher, Lizzo, and Cole Sprouse, excuse me, represented in our lovely little PowerPoint here. Usher dressed up as Gojo, Lizzo at one of her performances in a Sailor Moon inspired outfit, And Cole Sprouse, Halloween a few years ago, he dressed up as Howl from Howl's Moving Castle.
I'll say so. I knew about the Usher one because there on my TikTok feed was just post after post of people being devastated that he didn't wear this for the Super Bowl show. Everyone was like, "Yes, Daddy's home. Where is Gojo?" And he was nowhere to be found.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
big
saw
mad.
this post of him in that outfit because apparently the caption of it was a huge JJK spoiler. Something like that. Like somehow he had like in the hashtags, I don't remember what it was, but somehow there was a spoiler and they were like,
No.
in my 2024 bingo card, I didn't see Usher spoiling JJK for me.
I mean, valid, but what? Oh, come on. That's like a like we said, we try not to do too many spoilers on the show. We're obviously going to slip up, but with Usher being as popular as he is, he should know better.
Yeah, it's like fandom 101. You gotta pump
Yeah.
the brakes sometimes. Wait, up next. Choo.
Oh,
Ah,
yes. My favorite. This was one of my ads. Okay, so Jamal Williams, he is a professional football player. He was signed onto the Packers. He was a fourth round pick. He spent some time here recently playing for the Lions and then the Saints most recently, I believe. But he, again, publicly is
mm-hmm,
such a
mm-hmm.
huge fan of anime. He doesn't care what you think.
Yeah.
He just loves what he loves, right? So,
And he's so in this clip, like before we watch this, he's just so joyful
he
and he
is.
like he he knows his stuff and he's not ashamed to like correct someone on it and
Yeah.
I chef's kiss. Again, chef's kiss. All right, I'm going to play this clip.
I'm gonna let you know, this for my nerds back home. We Akatsuki'd out a little bit. Got the Akatsuki Red Cloud.
First swag Kazakage. Leave
The eyes.
The Akatsuki Crow, Robo, you know me.
Just want to go home and play Pokemon.
Go home and play Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon.
Yeah.
Don't do that. You can't disrespect Pokemon like that. Pokemon.
Mom.
You sound
I
like
got my
old.
nephew.
Itachi, my boy right there. And then once you see this line right there, that mean like you banned from your clan. Yeah, I'm a rogue ninja.
It don't matter what team you on or anything, you can always appreciate somebody who loves anime.
And true
Absolutely
words
agree.
never
Absolutely
been spoken.
agree. If you say Pokemon, he's right. You sound old.
I specifically remember, and I think about this a lot more frequently than I should. When I was in 4th grade, we had like Time for Kids, Time magazine, and we would get it like every month or something. And my teacher was going over it with us, and it was an article about Pokemon. And it was an article about how it wasn't going to last, like the hype wasn't going to last forever. It was something that was going to fade. And it would be something of our past, and we would not think about it the way we do. And I was like I think about this weekly.
These are the people who wrote these things are the ones that invested in Beanie Babies.
Exactly.
Where are they now?
They're the ones who bought the Dogecoin.
I mean, that paid off for some folks.
Continuing with sports.
Yeah, following the sports theme, I got the email today from Crunchyroll about the My Hero Academia and NBA Lab collab. And there's like a bunch of NBA teams, and it's mostly All Might. So you've got the Golden State Smash shirt, the Chicago Smash shirt, but they've also got hoodies, they've got bomber jackets. These things, not gonna lie, they're pretty dope. Unfortunately, they just went with like the most popular NBA. Because my husband, by the time I was like, oh, by the way, did you see this today, babe? He was like, yeah, I already looked. There's nothing for our local sports team on there. It's only like famous ones. So I was like, dang it.
That makes sense. Like slightly tangentially to that, I remember in college, Pink, the Victoria's Secrets brand, they were like, oh, we're going to have like college stuff. We're going to have your university on this shirt. And I was like, y'all ain't going to have my little podunk, middle of nowhere college. And they did not. And eventually, I think they did get stuff, but it took so long to get that. And by that point, it was like, it doesn't even matter. But these are very cute. I like them a lot. But do you know if they have anything that isn't All Might? Because everything pictured here that I'm seeing is relating to him in some way.
I couldn't find anything that wasn't All Might. There's been
Interesting.
there's been some posts on social media where because of this collab, like they're doing mashups of different anime characters wearing some NBA uniforms that so even outside of My Hero Academia, and those are just
Yeah.
cool to look at. But yeah, sports and anime without being a sports anime. So films and anime. So there's been a lot of controversy here lately on the Boy and the Heron Studio Ghibli film winning Best Animated Feature Film. People have been in their feels because they felt like the recent Spider-Man animated feature film deserved to win. Those people obviously did not see Boy and the Heron.
I did see a good rebuttal to that saying, The Boy and the Heron, you can go in and watch that without watching any other Ghibli movie. But with Spider-Man, if you hadn't seen the first one, you would be able to pick up on things here and there, but you would still be lost to some extent. So while the animation and everything of Spider-Man is very cool and deserves its own recognition, walking in and judging the film without any additional things to it is what they ended up doing.
I really enjoyed this movie, and so much so, I saw it, like, I think the day that it came out. So obviously I saw it in Japanese. Again, stunning. My only regret is not going back and seeing it again in theaters in English because Robert
Oh.
Pattinson,
Yes.
he ate.
Yeah.
He left
Left
no
no crumbs.
crumbs.
You know, one of my top little like what is it? Not dirty little secret, like my guilty pleasure. Jersey Shore and Twilight. So I have to put some respect on Edward Cullen's name and his performance that he put on in this movie because if I didn't know from the
No.
get-go that was that man's,
I wish
I
we'd
had
have,
no clue.
I wish we'd have teed up an audio clip.
What exactly are you?
Your mother. She's awaiting your rescue.
You yourself, as a Twilight fan, Tia, like you said, you wouldn't know it was him.
No.
I don't know what sort of like coaching he went through for this, but he went in with a vision and it was everything. It was so good.
He really got into character for that. And, you know, you got to appreciate the man's art. He's like, I don't want anyone to ever call me Edward Cullen again. I'm going to leave that man's name in the dust. And here I am being like,
I'm gonna be
put
this-
respect on Edward's name.
I'm gonna be a weird bird dude instead.
You know, I would like to be a weird bird dude sometimes, too. So here's some other films
So
in addition to The Boy and the Heron.
yeah, so these films, two of these films were nominees at the Crunchyroll Awards. And another one I saw recently, despite it coming out a while ago. I think maybe it was in the Crunchyroll Awards the year before. But the three that I've listed here are Suzume, Your Name, and A Silent Voice. These were such good movies. For perspective, I have a friend who does not like anime. Has
Yeah.
tried, can't get into it. She watched Your Name and like had nothing but good things to say about it. Like she saw it before I did and like highly recommended it to me before I had
Wow.
watched it. Yeah. So if you've got friends who aren't into anime and you want to share your interests with them, which I feel like a lot of good friends should do. Good friends should share interests even if they're not, you know, the things that you're exactly into. Have them watch Your Name. It was psychological. It was also deep and emotional. It was also it was funny at points.
I openly wept in a theater multiple times.
So I went to Japan last year. I'm going again this year. I'm gonna see if
Humble brag.
I'm gonna see if I can convince my husband to go to the stairs.
Oh yes! Oh my god!
I know. So we'll see if I can convince them to let me go. I don't know how to describe the plot without spoiling it.
I feel like you can't.
Mm.
So hashtag spoiler warning if you don't want to know what this movie is about.
So basically, there's these two teenagers, a boy and a girl, and there's this event that happens astrologically, and then all of a sudden they find that they're switching bodies like on certain days, and so they're living in each other's lives on and off, and they're trying to catch up with what they missed and stuff, and they eventually try to meet up, and that's where kind of the story gets interesting. So I don't think that was too spoilery.
Oh, I think that was a good recap.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Suzume, if you have ever wanted to be emotionally attached to a chair, watch Suzume.
No notes. These are all, sorry, to slightly go off topic. These are all made by the same person, right? Or same studio?
That I don't know.
I think they are, because I remember specifically when Your Name came out, they were like, "Oh, the new Hayao Miyazaki is here. Like, this guy's it."
Oh, I would.
But I can't remember if A Silent Voice is from them too.
It looks like a different art style.
I know, that's what's holding me up on that. Silent Voice slapped. Also cried openly a lot.
Yeah, I sobbed watching that one as well. So for A Silent Voice, for those that haven't seen it, again, a really good film, will make you cry. It's basically this like little kid, he's a little jerk. He's teasing a girl that's hard of hearing in his class. He grows up, lives a crappy life, runs into her again, and tries to amend for being an absolute butthole. And there's a lot of emotion behind like the character that he's trying to connect with and the trials that she's been through. So again, these were all movies that I personally loved, and again, friends that aren't anime fans also loved.
I feel like that's a good way to get people into anime. It's like a gateway, utilizing a movie, because you don't have to dedicate yourself to. I know like One Piece is very popular, but it has like over 900, is it 1,000 episodes at this point? And yeah, that can be really intimidating. Even just like a show like Full Metal Alchemist that has under 60 episodes is still intimidating. But if you can get somebody to sit down and watch a movie, and I mean, it's just like any other kind of movie. There's so many different kind of genres within the anime itself. It's a good way to introduce somebody to something they might not check out otherwise.
Not gateway ones, yes, and not gateway videos, movies. I'll add, and I know I mentioned this to some other folks, and you're probably one of them. I don't know if you watched them either, but it was To Every You I've Loved Before.
Yes, you did mention.
And there is a counterpart movie for that kind of goes along with it. And so it's these two movies, they're a set, and they're other thinker movies, and you get to decide which one you want to watch first, and it changes your interpretation of the film set. So I don't know, I feel like, sorry, I'm going to go on a tangent.
Please do.
I
Please
feel
do. That's
like-
what we're here for.
I feel like Hollywood movies, so standard Hollywood movies, they're so unoriginal, and it's just the same stuff being remade over and over again. It's disinteresting. It's I can't understand, like, yes, it's good and it's entertaining, but when it comes to like, I know we talked about art very briefly, but anime films are works of art, and they're so creative, and there's unique plots, and they're just I'm getting overwhelmed with like my frustration for this, because people have an aversion to watching anime if you're not kind of like into it. But these movies are better than Hollywood movies, in my opinion. And it's not just because I'm into anime. Like, these are just genuine, like, good works of art, good movies.
Yeah. They have heart, they have comedy, make you cry, make you laugh. It's got a good gambit of things within it. And it makes me think of, I know like there's been a lot of issues with Disney lately, just reproducing things for nostalgia's sake. And when they have a good movie, like I haven't watched it yet, but I heard that Elementals was really good.
Oh my gosh, it was so good.
Elementals?
Elemental.
Yeah, and I heard that was really good, but a lot of people don't even trust Disney anymore at this rate because it's like a hit and a miss, or there's some good ones or some bad ones, and then you've got some really bad ones, and they're just reproducing the same thing over and over again because they're like, oh, for nostalgia's sake, this worked really good. We can get the millennials and the other people to come back in and watch this. It's like, no, I'm wise to your ways.
Elemental was good. I recommend that one too. I'll summarize it in a way that maybe you'll understand, T. But imagine Disney writes a love story between an Aries and a Cancer.
Oh, if those listening and watching, I am a mother to a toddler, so my life is dedicated to whatever he wants to do. And then when he goes to bed, I am very sleepy and don't have a lot of time to do a lot of things. So I am very behind on a lot of things that I really enjoy. So I have a running list, and if you want to recommend anything to me, I will gladly check it out. So like I haven't seen Suzume because you're raising that kid, and when he goes to sleep, I want to sleep. But yeah, that's why I haven't seen Elemental, because I really want to. It looked really cute to me. I heard it was grand, but it's on the list. We're going to Disney anyway, so I'm trying to cram as much Disney information out of that child's head before we get there. So we might have to watch that one soon.
Yay! You have to take a break from Bluey to watch Elemental.
He does like Bluey. He watches Pokemon. That's one of his favorites. What does he normally watch? Like, what am I usually stuck watching? Miss Rachel. He's been into Curious George lately.
That's cute.
Yeah, he's fallen in love with Curious George, and typical toddler stuff. But I try to sneak in like Pokemon. We were like, we're gonna watch this. Oh, we watched the newest Dragon Ball Z movie recently, and we watched it as a family.
So cute.
It was very cute. But he had like a really rough day. Like we kept him up a little bit past his nap, and we're like, Milo, do you like the movie? And he was sitting there perfectly fine. He's like, yeah. And then he went back to watching it. So we're like, okay, whatever. We're trying here.
It happens to the best of us.
If I was up past my nap time, I'd be a frightful thing too. So Crunchyroll Awards, we're gonna move into that.
Yeah, so like I said, some of those or all of those movies were at least nominated at some point during some of the Crunchyroll Awards. So I've got a cool infographic here where it kind of shows how peak viewers for the Crunchyroll Awards in 2021 were at 40,000. This year, the 2024 Crunchyroll Awards were at 90,000 viewers at peak. That's huge.
Wild.
It's huge, right? Then when you look at the total votes cast, which don't get me started on how the voting system works, but I digress. In 2021, 15 million votes were cast. I won't say people voted, votes were cast.
Yeah.
And in 2024, I think they've narrowed down the categories actually, so it might be even more impressive. 34 million votes were cast.
That's wild.
Anime equals trending up, anime equals cool.
And I mean, I said it before, like, growing up, not a thing. Unheard of. I still remember when I found Crunchyroll, and I was like, you mean that there's online anime that I can watch whenever I want on my crappy dial-up internet? Give. So to see these numbers makes my little nerd heart happy. Like you said, it doesn't have to be accepted by everybody, and you don't have to be ashamed of what you like, but to see something like that I grew up really enjoying finally getting the recognition it deserves is a good thing.
I'll add to because the next couple slides that we're going to go into are summaries of the Crunchyroll Awards, but mostly just me talking about the nominees and if I liked them or not. I'll say, so on anime being cool, I have anime tattoos. We've talked about it. When I was in Japan, brag again, tattoos not super popular there for reasons, but I was at Universal Studios Japan, and like I'm waiting in line, and some of the natives there are like looking at my arm and like pointing, and like I hear them like naming the characters that are on my body art, and so I would like show them more ones, and they were like, oh my gosh, so cute, because I have like an Anya tattoo on my leg, and they were like, Anya, and it was so cool to like be there. But then even here in the US, like I'll be somewhere and someone's like, oh my gosh, is that a Soul Eater tattoo? Is that a, and it's cool. I'm not like super great at being outgoing in the wild.
Yeah.
I'm personable, like once I'm like, okay, we're friends. But if someone approaches me and it's like, oh my gosh, I love your tattoos, and they'll like name one of the ones that I have, because I just get stuff that I like. I've now drawn to me someone else who likes the things that I like, and I use it as a means for making friends, and it's so cool because it happens fairly frequently, and I love that.
I can't wait until you do your tattoo panel at the convention you're going to coming up, like full circle.
Yeah, so back to the Crunchyroll Awards. We're gonna go through, and the
winners are
Okay, so
Best Romance.
I wanted to start off with Best Romance. Again,
Good.
I didn't list out all of the nominees. Again, just the ones that I knew of. So Best Romance, the winner was Horimiya. I will say another good intro anime for someone who's not really into anime. I would recommend Horimiya.
And this wasn't just the regular Horimiya, right? This was the extra, what was that called? It was like the extra bits that they left out from the manga that just didn't quite fit into the show.
Yes. Yeah. So this is kind of them like backpedaling into what was skipped. But it still did really well. The characters are lovable, and Horimiya is one of those shows where like it got me squealing. It was cutie.
It was very cute.
It was relatable too somehow.
Yes. Yeah. It was one of those shows where like it kind of puts you back in that mindset of being, I'm a high schooler, I got these priorities, I'm doing this, that, and the other. And it like you said, it's really relatable. And I just started watching Skip and Loafer, and that gave me the same vibe. Like I told my husband, he was out playing D&D with a couple of our friends, and he got back home, and I was like, this was one of those anime that makes me want to go study again. Like it makes me miss school and like learning and things like that. And I'm a nerd. I love to learn. I would get so many degrees if it didn't cost money. And Skip and Loafer is just like so lighthearted and so fun. And like I've only seen 3 episodes, and I feel like I could word vomit at you over this show. So I love Horimiya, but I also think Skip and Loafer was very good.
Skip and Loafer. So all of these romances, I'll list them out. Are Horimiya, then there's My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999. There's Skip and Loafer, there's My Happy Marriage, and then there's Tomo-chan as a Girl. I'll say that all of these romances all have very different vibes about them.
Yes,
so, like,
I agree.
I'll say Horimiya and Skip and Loafer are probably the closest in vibe, but they're not the same at all, right? So Horimiya is kind of like these two... these kids that are like very obviously like into each other, and they kind of grow together as like a couple, and it's cute, and their friends also kind of like grow around them. My Love Story with Yamada-kun, this one, I think the first episode was released this time-ish last year. I watched the first episode, or I had read about it being released or something, and I went and I started reading the manga immediately. When I tell you, I started and finished this, or whatever was available at the time, while I was on my honeymoon. I couldn't put it down. It was really good. So, if you're not familiar with it, basically this girl, she gets broken up with, and so she joined.
They're adults, right, in this one?
So
or are they teenagers?
So the girl like is like 1 or 2 years out of school, and the male lead, I think he's like a senior.
Oh, okay.
So they're younger. But so her boyfriend breaks up with her. She joins a guild, and the guild that she joins happens to have like the best player for this game that they play. It's like the best player that exists for this game, and so she's
Man, how'd she get that spot in that guild?
and there's only like a couple of other people in the guild, but they're all very like sweet to her, and so like she meets the guy also in like real life before she realizes that she's like in the guild with him and stuff. And it kind of like talks through like how she ends up like falling for him and vice versa. The manga was amazing. I don't know how the anime was, just because sometimes I'll read a manga and I'm gonna watch all the anime for it, and sometimes I read a manga and I'm like, this was satisfying, I don't want to ruin it. We already talked about Skip and Loafer. So My Happy Marriage, that's another one where I read all of the manga that had been released for it. And then the anime came out. And the anime was farther than the English translated printed mangas.
Oh, wow.
So then I watched it. And it's so good. So My Happy Marriage, it's like this girl, her mother and father. Her mother passes away. Her father remarries. She has an evil stepmother now with an evil stepsister. I mean, like, evil stepsister. Like, they treat her like a house servant. They talk down to
Cinderella
her.
vibes.
Yeah. And so they basically sell her off to one of the most, like, mean, notorious, like, military-esque dudes. Who's in search for a wife. He's already gone through like 4 or 5 would-be wives if they hadn't just ran away or something like that. So he's got a reputation. But and the reason that her parents are like mean to her is because she doesn't have like the gift that they thought that she was going to have. Meanwhile, her stepsister was like very talented. So it kind of goes into that and how it's very what did they do to you vibes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the romance for that one. And then Tomo-chan as a girl is the like tomboy, falls for her best friend, but best friend sees her more as like just the friend because she is so like tomboy. Like they're the kind of like friends that like will punch each other in the shoulder so much that it hurts.
Yeah.
But then like it's very obvious that the guy like becomes jealous in certain situations and he doesn't understand his own feelings because he's like, no, she's my friend.
Of course I love my friends.
Yeah, like, no, like, we're just friends. Like, I'm only jealous because, like, we're such good friends.
History will say they were friends.
So, yeah, those were all really good for best romance. Then the next category that I had a lot of feelings about was Slice of Life. The winner for Slice of Life, I'll read through them all, was Bocchi the Rock. And other nominees were Horimiya, which you've already talked about, My Love Story with Yamada, we already talked about, and then Skip and Loafer, which we also already talked about. So, T, can you speak to Bocchi the Rock at all?
So yeah, I haven't finished it yet, but that one is, so I'm a sucker for Slice of Life. Just you tell me that and I instantaneously will watch that. And my husband is very into music anime, so we loved K-On! And, anime along those lines. So when we saw Bocchi coming out, we were like, we gonna watch that. So the main character, Bocchi, and I cannot remember her actual name for the life of me, she is this very quiet, reserved girl. She has terrible social anxiety, and she plays guitar like a savant. She is top tier, excellent. But she posts videos of herself on YouTube playing her guitar, but you never see her face. So she is this like extremely talented guitarist that has never performed live, doesn't know how to even go about doing that. And the anime is her coming out of her shell and like ending up in a group with other girls performing and just improving her overall life by just coming out of her shell. And like she tries to tell them at one point that she's like, I don't remember her YouTube name, but she's like, yeah, I'm so and so, and they're like, Cute joke, Pochi. That's sweet. Good job, girl. You're making jokes with us now, friend.
Aw.
So little things like that, and I need to finish it. It's very sweet, very good, and it has like it's one of those. Have you seen it at all?
No, this is just like one of my husband's like top animes. I
So
think.
like her social anxiety is expressed in different ways, and one of my favorite things that they do, she will suddenly change art styles. Like
Cute.
there's one point where it's like a stop motion thing, and the anime it keeps going on around her, and that's how her brain is. Like that's her thoughts in her head,
That's so
and it'll
cool.
cut to her friends looking at her, and she's like on the ground like disassociating, but it's the normal art style.
Mood.
It's so cute. It's a fun one. And if you like music, it's got excellent music in it. It's not just like the girl group that she's in playing. One of the girls in her group, her sister, if I remember correctly, she owns like an underground, like literally underground. You go down the stairs into it, a bar that is a rock club. So Bochi and the other girls are able to perform because they work at the rock club selling like sodas and stuff like that. And that's also part of how Bochi works out her social anxieties because she's practicing talking to customers and working through things like that. And there's like a good variety of music within the show. It's really cute.
Aw. Yeah, it's been on my list. I have certain animes where it's like I become obsessed with them and like I'll power through them. It's like the sub or dub debate. This one I want to watch, but it's one of the ones where I feel like I want to watch it in English, and so I just haven't yet.
I remember you said that also about Skip and Loafer.
Yeah. It might just be a slice of life thing where I prefer to watch slice of life in English.
I think I said this to you, but like with slice of life, it's like if I pick up my phone for a second to look at something, I've missed so much.
Yeah.
Whereas with like anime that's got like crazy magic or something, I could kind of anticipate where it might be going. Even if it's like a huge plot twist coming up, I can sense that something's coming. But with slice of life, you're not entirely sure when that's going to happen. So I understand the need to watch that in English.
Yeah.
Anyway, your bread and butter.
So up
Your
next,
man is here. Daddy's home. We need that as a sound clip.
I'll tee it up. Yeah, so up next for the Crunchyroll Awards, instead of having a category, I just put JJK because I wanted to list out all of the things that JJK won.
I like
Now,
how you have the number one in the corner as
number
well.
one,
Because
they
they
won
swept.
They
this
did.
Is wild.
So there was a lot of controversy around JJK winning because the way that it's split, a lot of people I think voted based on the entirety of the season versus just the one particular arc that qualified.
I remember you said that.
Yeah, so it did win Anime of the Year, Best Character Design, that's overall, Best Ending Sequence, Best Opening Sequence, Best Cinematography, Best Supporting Character. Gojo actually beat Geto for this one. Best Director, Best Action, and then Best Voice Acting Performance for Japanese, French, and Portuguese. So I love JJK. I don't think that they deserved all of these.
Because I remember you said, so it should have been the first half of this season, correct? Like this was the award show took place in 2024, but it was anime that aired in 2023, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, so let me figure out. I want to get the arc right. So this one, so the issue is that the Shibuya incident arc shouldn't have been included in any of this. And actually, when you go through and you look at how like some of these won, they use different images for like the first arc versus the second part of it. And really a couple of episodes for the actual Shibuya incident qualified, but it wasn't any of the like actual Shibuya stuff that would have qualified. Now, that's not to say, so like the Where Our Blue Is opening sequence, that is for the right portion of the JJK series. However, looking at the other animes and openings that it was going against, there, I had this song stuck in my head. I'm not gonna lie, but it was also up against the Zom 100 opening sequence, which really entertaining, really fun to watch. It was also against the Chainsaw Man opening.
That haunts me. That's such a good song. Like, I still think about that song.
It's such a good opening sequence overall. The sequence and the animation itself, but also the music. It should have won. Yes, JJK is my bread and butter. I also love Chainsaw Man. I've got my little but yeah, so I don't know. I was disappointed.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Again, love this anime. Was disappointed at how many wins it got, given some of the other nominees. So I'm going to go through that. Actually, I think I've got Chainsaw Man up next.
You do.
Yeah, so Chainsaw Man, they won Best Voice Acting Performance in English, Spanish, Italian, German. They also won Best New Series. Now, Chainsaw Man was nominated for Supporting Character Power. That one also upset me because when I think of JJK, I don't think of Gojo and Geto as supporting characters. Power, however, I do think of as a supporting character, and
Definitely.
and she is so dynamic as a character. And I'm probably biased because I've read the whole thing. For clarity, like to be fair, I've read all of JJK and I've read all of Chainsaw Man. So I feel like it's fair. But yeah, for best supporting character, Power, so good. And a true supporting character. Other nominations that Chainsaw Man got included Protect at All Costs category. Puchita?
Did Anya win that one?
I think so. I have feelings about that too, and I also love Spy Family, but I'll get to that. I have a slide on that. Best main character, Denji. Denji, I felt like is a really good main character. I was worried when it first came out that people were gonna like hate him as a character, just because of how like literally disgusting he is in the manga. But people love him. He's such a good main, and Power is a great supporting character as well. Chainsaw Man was also nominated for Best Action, and as we mentioned before, was also nominated for Best Opening Sequence for Kickback.
I am looking really quick. Sorry, I keep getting lost in this. Okay, Anime of the Year, Best Original Anime. Sorry, I am just looking to see who won Best Main Character, because I am interested, because I was looking at these recently, and I cannot think off the top of my head. Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece.
That'll do it. I'm not into One Piece. I don't have the time.
I don't either.
I'll think about it. I'm easily persuaded, but
if there was a way they could do, and I don't even know if this would work because I don't know that much about One Piece. You know how they have Dragon Ball Kai, where it's like they took out all the filler episodes of Dragon Ball and they just cut it down, so it's like, here's the important parts of Dragon Ball Z. I don't know if they could do that because the manga from One Piece is also really long. It's not like they just threw a bunch of filler in there for funsies. It's like the manga is long, the show is long, so it's a very time dedication.
Well, didn't the creator of One Piece go on record saying like, "Whew, okay, time to finally start the story"? Like recently? Am I making that up?
I don't know, but if you are, that man better finish. There's not enough. Life is limited, YOLO. But like, you gotta finish that, my man's. I'm going to move on to honorable
check myself.
mentions.
Yeah, so honorable mentions. These were solid nominations according to Valsarpator. So Zom 100. This is something that I kind of watched late in the game. My husband had already watched it all and was like, "Oh, you're just not watching this." Respectfully, he did. He was like, "Oh, I'm glad you're." He does it like, "Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it," sort of thing.
No, it's just the way he said it. Just the way he's like, "Oh, you're watching this." I didn't want to watch it with you anyway.
Well, he'd already watched it, so. So Zom 100 was nominated for Best Opening Sequence with Song of the Dead, It is catchy. I made T listen to it. It's so good. Best ending sequence, Happiness of the Dead. Best new series, best comedy, and best art direction. So the opening sequence, I'll say, for Zom 100, I liked the art direction that they went in with it. That's part of why I liked it, in addition to the song being very catchy. Best comedy, I did think it was hilarious. I wasn't sure what to expect because it's in the name. It's a zombie anime.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to be so funny. Best new series nomination, we already went over who won that. My memory is trash. So yeah, Zom 100 didn't win any of those, but it was really good. You should watch it if you haven't. Other honorable mentions, I've got Buddy Daddies. It did win Best Original Anime. It was nominated for Best Comedy and also had a nomination for Best or Protect at All Cost Miri. So I love Spy Family. Buddy Daddies, like, it's about these two guys who are hitmen, and they end up adopting this girl because maybe one of them got a woman pregnant and then she didn't want the kid anymore and dropped her off, sort of thing. So then there's just these like two bachelor dudes who are hitmen trying to raise this like small girl, and that's Miri. And she is... So Anya did win. Anya Spy Family won Protect at All Costs. The problem is Anya could defend herself. Miri could not.
Also, I have a question. Is Buddy Daddies like a one and done season? Is there going to be more to it?
I don't know.
Because I feel like that should play into it as well. You have to look at like where like you said, Anya can defend herself. Can like present Anya in the season that came out in 2023 versus Buddy Daddies. If this is a one and done, I'm only looking at this season and I'm only comparing Anya with her one season. Whereas if Buddy Daddies has multiple seasons that are going to be coming out, I can compare Miri as a whole and Anya as a whole. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So she's super cute. She's like, she, you know, is calling one of them like daddy and stuff, and is really precious, and like she'll like, but she's also bonding with the other one, and it's kind of like treating them both like they're her parent. And one of them has like pretty bad trauma, so he sleeps like in the bathtub, and like she had a nightmare one day, and she like crawls into the bathtub and like sleeps with him, and it's just, I don't know, it's like so pure and sweet. And I really think Mira should have won Protect at All Cost, and Puchita was on the list. But we wouldn't, if Puchita were protected, we wouldn't have Chainsaw Man. So what are you gonna do? My third and final honorable mention was for Oshinoko. The list of nominations for this anime,
Astounding.
it's long. So they did end up winning Best Anime Song, Idol. So Oshinoko is like, the premise is there's this idol, and she's like the best idol that's ever existed. And she ends up getting pregnant and having twins, and then I don't know how much to get into. Actually, it's all like pretty early on stuff. So basically, like, she gets pregnant with twins. There's a side story going on where there's this doctor who's taking care of this like terminally ill girl. And while he's at the hospital taking care of this terminally ill girl who eventually passes away, then this idol comes in, and he's taking care of the idol while she's pregnant. And he is a simp. Like, he, not in a weird way, because he's an adult, and this is a not a child idol, but, you know, like a younger girl idol. So I don't know what happens, but the doctor ends up passing. And then so backing up, the doctor and the terminally ill girl both really liked this idol. And he would always tell this, because this girl was like, you know, like, I wish, you know, that I could have been an idol. Like, that was my dream. And they watched the shows of this one idol together. And it's very sweet. So anyway, the doctor passes, the terminally ill girl had passed. This girl goes on, and she has her twins. the twins are the terminally ill girl and the doctor reincarnated.
Oh, that's cute.
But they have all of their memories.
I was gonna say, and so does it, spoiler tag here, does it go far along that they age up and still remember who they were in their previous life?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I won't say any more. I've already said a lot, but this is another one where I watched the first episode and I read all of the manga. So the other nominations for it were Anime of the Year, Best Ending Sequence, Best Character Design, Best New Series. Again, this is another one of those ones where I'm like, it's such a good plot, such a unique and interesting plot. I mean, obviously, like, there's parts of it that have been done before, but whatever, but it gets deeper. Best Art Direction, Best Opening Sequence, Idol, Best Supporting Character, Best Director, Best Drama. So, I feel like the nominations kind of give into a bit of the undertones for it as well.
I was gonna say, I didn't know when this one, I was seeing ads and stuff for it. I didn't know if it would be for me because I'm not into idol anime, you know. I've tried. I've watched multiple idol anime. I have friends who were like, I've told you they are overseas idols. Like, I have friends who do this. This is something that they enjoy.
Brag.
And I just never brag. And I just never got into it in anime form. You know, I'm
Yeah.
gonna support my friends. I love them and I love what they do. And then I started seeing like people who are into idol stuff being like, this isn't for me. This isn't something that and I'm like, what do you mean? Explain.
I wouldn't say it's an idol anime.
And that's like, that got me more interested in it. It's on the ever-growing list of when the toddler's asleep, this is what I'm gonna watch.
Yeah, you'll have to let me know how the anime is, because again, this is one of those ones where it's like I'm so deep into the manga that I probably won't go back and watch the anime because there's too many like things that I want to watch as animes. So I've got the things that I read, so now I'm like running out of time to like go back and watch the things that I read and vice versa. I will say for this season, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but this happened to me with what's it called? A Sign of Affection. So
yeah.
I heard that it was coming out as an anime, and I was like, ooh, I'm going to really want to watch that. So I'm going to read it all first, because I know once it starts coming out, I'm not going to be able to wait, so I'm just going to start reading it now. So good. And I'm torn on if I like the art style of the anime, so I'm not sure if I'm going to watch it or not. But anyway, that's another one that I like read. Speaking of reading a manga before it comes out as an anime, I've got a small little asterisk on my slide that says Mashal was also nominated for Best Comedy. I tried watching this anime. This is another one where I blasted through like 100 chapters. I read most of Mashal while I was at Disney once. Like, because you get in line and then like, you have them downloaded because sometimes you don't have internet. So you download some volumes off the Shonen app and then you're good to go. Not sponsored by Shonen unless you want to. So, right. But Mashal's one of the ones where like I read it and I was laughing out loud reading this manga. Something that's like very rare for me. So I was so excited for the anime to come out, and I started watching it and I was like, this is kind of boring. The manga was so good though. And so I was super bummed about it. However, season 2, there's some like songs that are catching fire. So I think it's going to pick up in popularity, and I'm hoping that the next season's going to be better because it really is good. And for those of you that haven't heard of Mashal, it's like if One Punch Man and Harry Potter were an anime together, like as one thing is how I would kind of describe it. So that's kind of the synopsis for my honorable mentions.
Yeah, and I remember you mentioning Mashal to me like years ago at this point, which is wild to me. But I remember you mentioning it, and I was like, oh, that sounds like something I want to read. Like, I should go out and find it. And then when you told me that the anime just wasn't as good, I couldn't believe it because you just like, I remember, I think I was sitting next to you when we were at a Korean spa and you were reading it.
I'll read manga anywhere. If I'm at
On
if
a
I'm
plane in a terrain.
if I'm naked in a Korean spa, I'm reading manga. If I'm on my honeymoon, I'm reading manga. If I'm at
If
Disney,
you're in the happiest place on earth,
I'm reading manga.
you're making it happier by reading manga.
That's my next intro. Remind me, next recording is I love reading manga literally everywhere.
Like I couldn't like I said, you were literally reading this when we were like doing something else, and the fact that it just didn't live up to your expectations is wild.
I mean, I think it was so good. It's just because I had
Yeah,
such
yeah.
high expectations because of how good I thought the manga was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I got any more slides in here?
No, I don't believe so. Yep, that's it.
Oh, sick.
That is it.
So.
All right. Closing thoughts. How do you be feeling?
I'd be feeling like so I was into like smaller like anime things like as a kid,
Mhm.
kind of fell out of it. Came into it more heavily as an adult, and
Mhm.
it's again, it's one of those things where it's like we talked about how prevalent it is now.
Mhm.
But even if it weren't so prevalent, it obviously makes it easier because now like animes are getting better because of how popular they're getting, and so it's kind of like
Mhm.
this like doubly awesome thing where more people are into it, so you can talk about it more and you can be more excited, but then also because it's so popular, like the stuff's getting better. The
Mhm.
animation's obviously getting better, and technology plays into that too. But like seeing celebrities and seeing athletes, seeing collabs
Mhm.
through fashion brands, seeing the viewer counts and stuff go up for Crunchyroll, like that's all just like such awesome stuff. And so going through all of these with you today like reminded me just of like how many like good series there are out there. And I know you said that you have a growing list, but I'm really excited to kind of like dig in and see what's coming out in the next coming seasons.
Yeah.
Because I had some that I slept on and I was mad about it. And I
I
don't
feel
want to
like
do that again.
that always happens. I mean, even before we had our son, I use my anime list to keep track of things as the seasons come out. And I have things that I fully intended to watch
Hmm.
years ago when I had the time, and they just did not happen.
Yeah.
But I started using my anime list again. I re-downloaded it on my phone. I'm fully dedicating myself to this, and this has made me excited to. I don't want to say get back into anime because
Mhm.
I've never been out of anime. Like it's always been a passion of mine. It's a passion piece in my life. It's part of who I am now. But I've always loved it. It's always going to be part of my life. It's always going to be part of who I am. And seeing these things like getting like the other night when I was watching Skip and Loafer, I was like, man, I feel like I'm 15 again. I'm at home. I'm eating my snacks. I'm watching my anime, and I'm just having a good time, you know. So I'm excited to be able to allot time for it again.
Well, now you
And
have to because it's your job now.
I know. Hey, somebody sponsor us and start paying me money to watch anime, and then my life has become full circle, you know?
A dream come true. But yeah, so good chat. Like I said, I'm super excited. And if anyone that's
Mhm.
watching or listening has Rex, feels like agrees with us or feels differently
Mhm.
than what we feel, say something. I would love to engage and hear your opinions and get your
Mhm.
recommendations as well. I hope you get some recommendations from us too. But, until next time.